So I was watching this movie last night called Android, and it's about this inventor who's making an android out in space. And I'm not sure the timeline, but I feel like it's after the point androids have already been invented, but he's trying to kind of make them more, more human-like. Technology-wise, however, the movie seems to be further along, except in the biological sciences and maybe in video games, than in the game. So I don't think the movie is supposed to take place before the game. I don't think they have a lot to do with each other other than the fact that they're both called Android. The game Android doesn't even have any androids in it. It has biroids, which maybe are a type of android, so maybe it does have androids. Anyway, I like the movie so far. I'm about halfway through. The actor who plays the android, I think, does a fabulous job. So there's that. Another thing, it's time for the Real People Multi-Game Solitaire Mega Tournament, and we have a lot to do today. We're starting our second week, which means we have whole new plots for all the characters except for one. Raymond keeps his plot because it's a long plot, and including me. So I haven't heard from anyone that I got any rules wrong last time, so that means I ended the plot with 2 good baggage and 1 bad baggage, and even if I got a rule wrong, this is filmed already, so I can't go back and say I failed. So I think that means I get 7 victory points. That tends to be the normal, and I guess I'll give myself a treat or something. So on a lot of the plot cards, the ending plot, you get some certain special something. And I think I should get that. Maybe I'll get some favor from one of you, please. So let's go up and draw the new plots. That's exciting for me. I actually haven't played this game so many times that I've done all the plots. In fact, Raymond, for example, I'm kind of sad that he has this long plot, because every single time I've played with Raymond in the game, it's always the plot with the girlfriend. So anyway, we're going to draw plots for all the other characters. I'll draw a new plot, see what I have to contend with, and we'll go from there. Before we continue, I want to say I'm well aware, I think anyway, I should have drawn these technically at the end here rather than the start here. I ended when I did because I thought it was better video-wise to end at the end of those plots rather than to have the cliffhanger ending at the start of plots. So I did it that way. Another thing to mention before I continue, I lost somehow in between being downstairs and being up here the wayward path upstairs. I lost the plot cards I made. I can just assign a die roll to it, though. I remember what they were, so it's not a huge deal. So let's start in Someone to Love. Caprice hurried to the fountain in the quad, looking around while trying not to be too obvious. Suddenly a voice startled her. "Hello again, Caprice, wasn't it?" I read that wrong. "Hello again, Caprice, wasn't it?" There, the pauses are a little better there. She turned and smiled at the young man. "Yes, hello, Daniel." Now, I don't know if you remember earlier, she's already had relations with Daniel at this point, but I think maybe some telepathy or something went awry, or else Daniel just really gets around. I think actually I like that explanation better. Daniel really gets around, and although he's kind of the main love interest in her life because she's never been with any other man that we know of, I think he's kind of a campus stud, so to speak, and thus he kind of has a harder time remembering her name. Upshot is, though, she can go to Levy University right here, hang out at the college with Daniel, and get a Daniel favor. It's pretty nice for her, especially if she just decides to go to Hospiroid, because there's red right there, and she won't have to go all the way over here to get the red favor. Daniel has it on her. He also has green, which can help her get Jinteki chips, which are not as worth as much as Haas, but they're still worth, I think, 5 each, which isn't bad. Haas are worth 7. Green and yellow, she can get the green from Daniel and the yellow from City Hall right here, and just kind of hang out in this area, collect a bunch of victory points that way. Won't help her on her plot, however, if she opts to do that, or rather, if Twigmar opts to do that, because that's kind of more gamey, you have to sacrifice the Daniel favor to get good baggage. All right, so let's take a look at this. I'm so glad this came up. Sarah. Lewis sat in the dark, nursing a beer and hoping the phone would ring. He knew Sarah had been upset after Jim's funeral, but he hadn't expected anything like the blazing row they'd had. Now she was staying with her sister. There was no doubt where he stood on their relationship. She was the only woman he'd ever loved. She kept the dark and accusing faces away at night. He just hoped she knew that. Well, he's on the moon, and she's still waiting for a couple dates, so... Alright, Floyd. So remember, Floyd's first plot point is always just making a choice. So right now, let's see what kind of choice he has to make. I haven't read this yet. Finding himself. Floyd looked up at the clouds as they drifted past, amusing himself by trying to fool his visual recognition system into registering something other than the type of cloud and its probable effects on the weather. After a while, he thought, can I ever really be more than just a machine? Should I even try to be? Alright, when this plot resolves, Floyd chooses the outcome. So he can either choose to get rid of his second directive, and let's take a look at what that is. It's buried. Oh no, it's right here. His second directive. Oh, I think I knocked on this. Shoot. Can't play more than one light card per turn is the limit. Oh, and he can follow up a lead for 0 time. Alright, I hope I didn't break that directive. I bet I did. I won't tell Smoo about that. Okay, so let's go on to Rachel here. Father's Day. Now, she has a lot of her father's favor. I don't know if you see all these. This is her dad. He's a sergeant, I believe. Let's see. Let's take a look at our little chart. This is pretty helpful player aid, by the way. Captain. He's a captain. So, a lot of times, if you don't know the game super well, there'll be cards that just mention the name of an NPC, which are what these guys are, I think. I call them NPCs. They're not player characters. They're characters in the people's lives. But you don't know which person it actually is, what the picture is, because the card doesn't show the picture. So it's really helpful to have this little thing. Got it in the file section. Probably the best player aid you can get for this game, because the rules aren't that hard. Anyway, so... You can't live my life for me, Dad. This is who I am. This is what I do. It saddens me that you think that's true, Rachel. Oh, come on. Wake up and smell the corruption. This is New Angeles, not Utopia. This is the real world. Okay, and she can gain 1,000 by adding 1 bad baggage. She has a lot of different money-making opportunities, I guess. I haven't felt like it was very... Maybe it's the cards that came up. I haven't felt like it's been very hard for Dick to have a lot of money here. I don't think he's lost money on much of anything. Raymond here, he's just trying to figure out what she's really after. He's got a kind of hard thing for him. Okay, here I've noticed this last session. Raymond gains 1 good baggage each time he uncovers a piece of the conspiracy. The conspiracy is pretty much all uncovered. I don't know how he can get a happy ending out of this. Well, he can still get a happy ending because it's been good for him so far, but it's not going to be the big 14-point payoff that he normally would get. And it's actually 16 points with this thing. So, unless something happens to really shake up the conspiracy puzzle, which I don't think there's a card that totally does that, it's going to be hard for him to get good baggage here. Alright, Dick just finished his rendezvous in the old war memorial. Placed an alibi token on Eve 5VA 3TC. Figures that's pretty safe, given that you're already in week 2. This game doesn't encourage as much, especially with 5 players, going after 1 player, as much as it does just kind of trying to get yourself points. If someone spent the time to try and off Eve 5VA 3TC, by conventional means, first they'd have to get a warrant or else spend the extra time and resources to get into humanity labor. And then you have to spend all this stuff just to put a hit on the character. You gotta do that 3 times in order to totally off them. So that would be at least a turn. It'd be more than a turn to get everything just to get rid of a person. There's 6 turns left in the game. Doesn't seem like it would be in anyone's best interest just to get rid of his, I don't know how many points, 7 or 9 or something like that. I think 9 points. But it's possible. Took a risk. Kind of was very obvious about who he felt was innocent, unless he's just tricking. Here's what everyone else thinks about his Eve 5 VA3TC move. All right, so after he did that, he moved over to Oliva's Robotics here, and made it so that when someone plays a dark card on him, he got a Berserker AI unit. He gets to draw a dark card, so it kind of gives him this immediate like retaliatory move anytime someone does something naughty to him. Cost him 2,000 though. Spent some money. That knocked him down a victory point temporarily. I just want to show you before I play the next turn how much favor he has. I actually wasn't. He was supposed to get, I think, 2 more of her favors for successfully completing that last plot. Didn't have enough in the bank. I think he found something that Sparky also found. If either of them had known the game a little better and had played through these cards before, they might have made some different decisions in terms of what they did. Like Sparky did a lot of the conspiracy puzzle. He might have saved it until after he had gotten to this point where he gets good baggage for playing conspiracy pieces, and Dick might have used some more of that favor so that he could get it back. Because I actually checked in the rules for a while. It took me a while to find it. The counter pieces are static, so when you run out of a favor type, you can't get any more until someone cashes in their favor. In the middle of Twigmarsh, or not technically in the middle, he's done one thing. Start off his turn, however, he had a card played on him. I'm still learning to control my powers. She has to show he has to show all of Caprice's cards, all of his cards, to everyone. I think what happened was her telepathy went crazy and she just broadcasted her thoughts. And so cards she had, which is why I decided to film now. I want to show you the cards before I started playing too many of them. She had a couple cards that she could play on Lewis if he went into what are these called? Those bad locations. A seedy location. And also a card that she can play on Floyd when he enters a seedy location. And a card that she can play on Rachel as soon as Rachel has the start of her turn and she has any sort of cyberware. She now has cyberware. Nothing Dick can do about that right now because it's going to be at the start of his turn. Other than that, she had a light card which she already played, which let her, in exchange for showing a card to the person on her left, which is Dick, which was no problem for Twigmar right now because Dick already saw all of his cards. She got to replace a piece of evidence. So he replaced a piece of evidence on Eve 5VA3TC. And Twigmar spent the rest of his turn stocking up on Daniel favors, as well as this nice card here. No, I'm afraid Jim isn't coming. Where are you headed, Sarge? Gonna go see an old friend. Won't the captain be mad? Nah, this is tradition. My friend's daughter was killed on this day 20 years ago. Jim and I have kept her company on the anniversary ever since to keep her from doing anything foolish. Now Jim is dead, and that's why he's not coming. He played at the start of Lewis's turn. He gets one duty. Duty is not one of his words there, so that doesn't help him. Place one of his hero markers on Gila Highlands, which is right here. Pretty nice part of town. Nice of the cops to spend extra time on the people who live there. He can go there by spending one time, and if he follows up any leads until he has retrieved his hero marker. Oh, he can't follow up any leads until he's gone there and spent one time. Then we gotta leave this card in play. So it's a pretty hefty card to play on Banana. I can't say she hasn't earned it though. There's been a lot of tit for tat between these two players right here. Whew, and that card was devastating for Banana. There was all these leads up on the moon that Banana thought was all for herself and Lewis to share. couldn't follow up any of them. Also didn't quite have the favor she needed to follow up on Hospiroid, which is why she went up there. I think she thought she could pull some light cards and get the favor that way. So she headed all the way back down. Kind of needed to deal with Sarah as well. Yeah, I think she realized that Sarah has blue favor on it, and blue favor is useful for the Hospiroid scene. Maybe next time she'll get a drop pass before she sends Lewis on up to the moon. A lot of just pointless walking. A lot of pointless walking. I realized I forgot to do my plot card. Thought I'd take a break since we're about halfway through the turns, actually more than halfway, and roll for mine. Remember, I lost the plot cards that I made. I'm sorry about that. One of them, and this one will be the odd, so if I roll an odd number, this will be my plot card for this next week of the game, week in game terms, was even as I disintegrate, I'm expanding. Okay, so that would be odds, even, and that's in quotes, because on the cards, they have quotes. Oh, no, they're not quotes, they're titles. I have to give it something else. We'll call it Growing Old. Growing Old will be the odds, and then the evens, since it's titles, I gotta convert the quotes to a title. The addled plate. Okay, so evens is the addled plate, odds is Growing Old. I guess I'll let you see what I roll, so you think I'm honest. And it's even, so it's the addled plate. So what that means is this plot, and I was kind of hoping for the other one because the other one seemed easier, had to do with physical fitness. This one has to do with all the things I'm not doing while I'm doing the Real People Multi-Game Solitaire Mega Tournament. So basically, it involves all the other kind of extracurricular projects and a few things for work, though nothing like the food report. Anytime I make progress on one of those things, I think is what the card said. I should look, because I had it pretty well balanced. I should try and find the card somewhere. Well, anyway, how I get bad baggage is anytime someone asks me for one of the things I was supposed to be working on with them, I'm going to get bad baggage. And anytime I make progress on one of those things, I'm going to get good baggage. I think that's kind of generally it. Whenever I find the cards, I'll be more clear. Cooney's turn was a whole lot of hanging out at the East Side tenements some more. Decided to leave, though, so we'll probably do something next turn. So Sparky had Raymond spend some more time at Levy University. Very popular place, this game. I don't think I've ever spent so much time at Levy University in my entire life, or at all. But a lot of people are going there. A lot of people are hanging out at the tenements because they want those Hospiroid points. And you know, Twigmar has his own goals there because that's where Daniel hangs out. So, pretty much just, and then he followed up some leads, put evidence exclusively on Sergeant Deja Thoris. So it's nice someone is still following up leads because there hasn't been too much of that this turn. And this is a mystery. It's not just about currying favor with this corporation on the moon. And this is an exciting turn. The first turn of week 2 means we get to turn over this very special event card. This is the special event card that's keyed into the Mons Wolf Massacre. There's 3 of these for each of the different cases. So I have no idea what it says. Let's read it. Terrorists have struck the city. Ah! God, what a nightmare! Bombs exploded all over the city this morning. The FBI will be coming in to investigate the bombing, so try to stay out of their way. Any detective in a Ritzy location when this event is drawn gains 3 trauma. Whoa! Guilty hunches are worth -5, so they had that +5 on the card. I don't know if you remember that. They're supposed to be worth +5, which I think informed Sparky's last turn. He was like, well, it's still going to be worth some points to get the guilty verdict. It still is. It just kind of returns it back to the standard amount. And conspiracy tokens are worth +1 victory point, so they're worth 5 instead. Wow. So who has conspiracy tokens? I see that Caprice does. There's almost some prescience with all the conspiracy mongering that our characters got into. So who benefits from that? The bonus to the conspiracy chips is Dick, Sparky, and Twigmar. Twigmar, however, got hit big time just for being at Levy University, man. A lot of people were at Levy University lately. He just got unlucky. Again, this is another situation. If Twigmar had played this game a lot, enough to have known all the different specific events for Mom's Wolf Massacre, which is pretty unlikely, actually. It's a big game. It takes some time. But people love it, so it's conceivable that someone would be able to know that would happen, or that had a 1 in 3 chance of happening. Probably wouldn't be hanging out at Levy University at the beginning of week 2. So anyway, we got -3 points for that. This is piling up the trauma. Poor Caprice. And yet she's kept her sanity throughout. All right, that's it.